All right. It's really good to see that there are so many people here that are interested in a people experience. That's good. Welcome to this session about the new people experience in Delve. My name is Stefan Debald, and together with my colleague, Welly Lee, we will show you how Delve will make you more productive, because it lets you discover, through content actually, the relevant people that can help you get your job done more effectively, and how you can use Delve to discover through content, through people, the content and the new information that you need in order to stay in the know. So, to put this in very simple words, if you often ask yourself these questions, I think you might like what we have to show you here today. Because the answer to these questions is really about people and insights about people. Let me give you a number of examples. Think of the colleagues which are most important to you, or the teams that you depend on. Have you ever wished there was a good way how you can keep up with their current work because you want to stay informed? Or if you receive an email by somebody you don't know, have you ever tried to understand how that person is connected to you, to your work and your team, because you want to know who that person is? Or do you ask colleagues for pointers to one of their documents because you want to go back to it, but you don't know how? Right? Or have you ever wished that you knew somebody who is knowledgeable about a topic or a project or a client because you need help? Right? So I'm in these situations all the time. And the answer to these questions is really about people and content and the insights which connect them. And this is exactly what we will cover here today. So first, I will talk about why people matter and why they are so important to your productivity and your success. In fact, they are so important that we are going to evolve Delve, and we will complement it with a new people-centric experience for Office 365. Then I'm going to demo that experience to you and show how you can use it to find and discover important information through the people who matter to you. Then we will switch gears a bit, and Welly will show you how you can use the insights in Delve to discover more people, to make new connections, to grow your network, and how you can find individuals who can help you with your tasks. So let's begin. Why do people matter? It was Vygotsky, who was the founder of cultural psychology, who said something very smart. He said that it is through others that we become ourselves. And this applies to many things. It applies also to how successful you are, because your success depends on the people you know, the people you are connected to, the people you work with. So knowing a person, that is knowledge, that is important knowledge because it can make you more effective. Let me give you an example. If you know somebody that is knowledgeable about a topic that is new to you, or somebody who has worked with a client you're about to engage with, so knowing this person will clearly make you more effective. Right? So it's about knowing who does what and who knows what that has a profound impact on our productivity as information workers. And it's exactly that question that Delve will help you answer. Who does what and who knows what? So that is one reason why people matter. It is pretty much your success depending on it. But there's more. We believe that the concept of people is a very powerful proxy to information. Remember, one of the 4 questions we always ask ourselves: how can I go back to a document? Right? Let me give you an example. Imagine a couple of days ago, somebody was sending you an email with an attachment, and that was a presentation. And at that time, you opened the presentation, you read it, but then you moved on. And a couple of days later, you realize there was this one slide in that presentation that you really want to reuse for one of your own presentations. So you need to get back to the document. How do you do that? Happens to me all the time. What I do is I typically remember the person who sent the document to me. So I can search for the recent emails from this person, right? And then I can go through the emails, and then I will most likely find the document I'm looking for. So I use the person as a proxy to the information I care about. Let me give you another example. Not for finding one piece of content, but actually quite the opposite. Filtering through the vast amount of information that is flowing around you in your organization. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you're staying informed and that you're not missing out, right? Imagine that you are triaging your email after a long weekend, right? And we all get our fair share of email these days. So there's all the messages, right? There's all the meeting invites. There might be tasks that are assigned to you. And there might be all the files, right? Files coming as email attachments, files being shared with you from OneDrive, from team sites, from groups. So there's all this stuff. How do you understand what is important and what you have to react on? What I do when I try to understand what is important, and I think I do that almost subconsciously, is I look at the people behind all this stuff. So I look at the person who sent me the email or the people who are active in a conversation, and I use that to judge whether something is important to me or not. So if the email is from my manager, I'm a lot more likely to open it right away than if it is from somebody I rarely interact with or only casually work with. And the same applies to groups. And that could be groups in Yammer, it could be groups in Outlook. I'm a member of many groups, and I cannot go to all groups all the time. So I have to prioritize. And the way I do that is to look at the people that make up the group. If the group is for the set of people that I work with on my most important project, this is clearly the group I would go to first. So in order to stay productive, we use people all the time, either as a proxy to information we care about or to filter through the vast amount of information around us to understand what is important. And Delve and the new people experience in Delve will make this a lot easier, and it will make you a lot more productive. So this focus on people is actually a very natural evolution for Delve, because up to now, Delve is focusing on search and discovery of relevant content. So Delve knows the topics which matter to you because it is built on top of the Office Graph, which is the intelligent fabric behind Office that applies machine learning to map out all the connections between content and people and all the interactions that are happening across Office 365. And people and the relationships between people in the graph are crucial for how Delve works behind the scenes. So what we are doing now is pretty much to expose some of these insights from the graph around people and groups directly to the user in Delve. So let's delve into that. I'm really excited to share an exclusive preview with you today of how we are going to evolve Delve over the next couple of weeks and months. If you're using Delve today, the following demos will look very familiar to you. But there are a number of improvements that we want to share with you. Some of them are already made available in the first release program of Office 365. So if your tenant admin has enrolled to that program, you can pretty much use these features today. Other features, however, are still in the labs, so to speak. We have to continue to iterate a bit longer on them until we will eventually release them to you. But at the same time, we wanted to use this opportunity here today to share the direction in which we are taking Delve. But let's look at Delve. So in the following, you will actually meet one of my alter egos who happens to be a logistics manager for a fictitious furniture company called Contoso. And this is how Delve looks for me at Contoso. So here in the home view, Delve suggests content to me that it considers relevant. So this Delve feed is created by machine learning on top of the Office graph that has all the signals and all the artifacts of work from your organization across Office 365. And it creates this personalized discovery experience. So Ashok, for example, he is a sales manager at Contoso. And together with Brock on his team, we often work together on distributing the latest chair collections, for example. So it is natural that their content is being suggested to me in Delve. There's also content that is becoming popular. It's becoming to trend, either in my organization or my team. And if the content matches my interests, Delve suggests that to me. So in a sense, Delve takes all the work that's happening inside of your organization and it brings it to life in this personalized way. But let's look at the people experience. With Delve, I can go deeper on any of the people in my organization. Let's take, for example, this new guy. His name is Wally. And Wally has a problem because he has to figure out what happened to some goods that were damaged during shipment. So he sent me an email asking for help. So let's see what Delve knows about Wally at Contoso. So I can easily search for Wally. I can go to his page, and this page, I believe, has the potential to revolutionize the way how you are accessing information on Office 365. Because here on the Activity tab, Delve shows me all the documents that Wally has worked on across Office 365 and that are shared with me. So the sharing is important. Delve never shows content to me that I don't have access to. So if Wally is working on a document in private or in a private group that I'm not a member of, Delve would not show it to me. But if it is shared, it doesn't matter where it's coming from. It could be Wally's OneDrive for Business, it could be team sites, it could be groups like this group about Fabricam, where Wally is working together with the team on that thing. Even if the document is shared with me as an email attachment, it would show to me in Delve here. So in a sense, this page gives me a 360-degree view of all the documents that Wally is working on across Office 365 and that I have access to. Now, moving forward, we will also start to add communication to that view. So there's a communication tab that will show all the conversations that Wally is active on and that I have access to. So in this case, it was just one email where Wally asked for help. So this is a very simple but powerful view that I use every day. In fact, we have done an analysis from the usage data of Delve from first release, because this view is available in first release. And we learned that this view is being used a lot by our frequent users of Delve. And we also learned through the customer feedback from first release that this view made people wonder how they worked before without Delve. Let me give you a very real example for that. So imagine Wally and I, we have now a corridor conversation, right, to help him with his problems with the damaged goods. And I remember that there was this other colleague of mine, Ashok, who had a very similar problem the other day when he was sharing a document with me. So what I want to do is I want to share the document with Wally because it is very relevant to his problem and I want to help him get his job done. So having a view like this for Ashok would make it very easy, right? In fact, it is so easy, it works on the go. So this is the Delve app. It is the iOS app that was released 3 weeks ago. This is the home view. It shows the same content for discovery as I've shown you in the web. Now I can search for people, so I can search for Ashok, and I can go to his page. And this shows all the documents that Ashok was recently working on. And I can actually find the document about the challenges that he had with the All Chair campaign. And I can open the document right in the app. If I go to landscape mode, I can swipe through and show Wally the relevant slides. Or I could easily share the document with him, for example, through an email. A view like this that shows you all the activity of a person is very, very useful to re-find a document from somebody else. But it not only works for other people, it also works for me. If I go to my work, it shows all the documents that I have worked on across Office 365, so I no longer have to remember which folder in my OneDrive was the document, or was it a team site, or was it a group. If I touched it, it will be shown here. So with Delve and the new people pages in Delve, it is now super easy to use people as a proxy and to find content through people. So if you're interested in the app I've just shown you, we have released it to both Android and iOS. It is available in a couple of markets, the US included. You can download it from Google Play or the Apple App Store, or the URLs that are shown here on the slide. Please download them, use them, let us know what you think.
What about Windows Phone?
We're working on that. Yeah, a little bit more patience. So moving on. The people pages are a very powerful tool, not just because they allow you to refine the content of other people, but because these pages very effectively show you what a person is working on. This is another reason why I go to these pages all the time. One of the pages I go to is that of Ashok, because Ashok and I, we often work together, and his job is important to my success. So going to his page allows me to stay informed about the work that he is doing. If he starts to work on a new document that is shared with me, it would show up here, like this document about sales volatility that he apparently modified 3 hours ago. As I said before, we use people all the time as a proxy to information, and because of that, we will soon be introducing following of people in Delve, something that many of you have asked for. So from the people pages, you can easily follow a person that you care about, and there will be a new following view that allows you to quickly catch up with the recent activity of the people you are following. So in Ashok's case here, there's a document about sales volatility, and then I can just go through back in time through his activity, and I even see the document that I was sharing with Welly just a couple of minutes ago from the app. Frederick is another person, another colleague I follow because we work together and I want to stay informed about what he is working on. So this is a great view that allows me to discover content through the people I care about. And if I find a piece of content I like this launch party invite, I could open it right away from Delve, or if I don't have time like now, I could just mark it and then quickly get back to it at a later point in time. So these rows here on the following view are almost like a preview of the people pages. So if you look at Brock's document, if I go to Brock's page, you will see it is the same content, but apparently it is so much more convenient to glance over all the activity of the people I care about in the following view than going from person page to person page to person page.
Question. Is there a way to search on the activity page for a particular document so you're not seeing the latest?
Yes. Let's come back to that later when we talk about search. So following is not a new concept in Delve. You have been able to follow boards in Delve for quite some time in first release. And just of this week, we have started to roll out boards to standard release. So over the next couple of weeks, everybody should be able to work with boards in Delve. If you are new to Delve, boards is a great way to collect and to share content together with other people. So here, for example, Brock has started to work on a proposal for Northwind traders, and he has added it to a board about productivity landscape. Now, boards are public in Delft, which means I can go to them and not only find the document that Brock was working on, but also other documents about the same topic that either he or colleagues of ours have added to the board. And if the board topic is interesting to me, I can follow it in the same way as I can follow people, and the board, together with the recent activity, will show up on the following view. So this is the following view. It's a great way to stay informed through the people who matter to you. There's one last thing, and that is, because Delft is built on the Office graph, we can use the insights about people in the graph to actually give suggestions for people to follow. So if I go to my home view, and this is the place where Delft gives me smart suggestions, you can see there's actually Welly being proposed to me to follow because we started working together. I am not following him yet. And he even got praise by Adam. Praise is a peer recognition feature that Welly will talk about in a minute. So if I want to stay informed about what Welly is working on, I can easily follow him here from Delft, and his recent activity will always be accessible to me in the following view. So let's recap briefly what we have covered about the role of people in Delft. I've shown you how Delft and the new people experience in Delft can make you more productive because it allows you to find content through the people that matter to you, using people as the proxy. And because the people pages now give you this 360-degree overview of what the person is working on, it's very easy to find a document from another person. So with Delft, there's no more asking your colleagues for pointers to their documents because it's right there in Delft. In addition, the new following view allows you to stay informed through the people who matter to you, complementing that algorithmic discovery experience that we have in the home view of Delft. And now Welly is going to show you how you can use Delft to discover more people, to make new connections, to grow your network, and how you can find individuals that can help you with a specific task.
Thank you, Stefan. There is a user research company called Nielsen Norman Group. The company conducts an annual global study of corporate intranet, the design and the usage. One of the guidelines that it publishes says that whether a company is large or small, international or local, has tens of thousands of employees or less than 50, its people always need information about one another. Our work often depends on other people. We need to find people who can help us. We need to find other people who can help us learn. This is especially the case when you are starting on a new job, whether you are starting in a new company or a new team or even starting a project. At Microsoft, it is quite common for people to move to different teams. I've been with Microsoft for 8 years, but I only joined the Office team 2 years ago. I remember when I joined the new team, how challenging it was to learn about the people in my team, about what they do and what they know. And sometimes I need also to find people in different departments. But it is not enough for you to know who works in that department. You need to find relevant people in that department. You need to find the people in that department that supports your team, supports you. Someone who has a prior interaction with your team. I'll give you an example. Sometimes I work with Microsoft Research. And if I need some help with Microsoft Research, I cannot just call anyone at Microsoft Research. There are more than 1,000 people at Microsoft Research. I need to find someone who supports my team, who knows my team, and who has a prior relationship with someone in my team. So in other words, I need to discover connection between other people and me and my team. In another case, for finding other people, sometimes I need to find people who know certain things, whether that is knowing certain products or certain customer. I need to find a local expert. So Delve can help you to find the connection as well as the expertise. You can find the people through content, through your activities in the Office Graph that powers Delve. So that is what I'm going to talk about in this second half of this presentation. I will start with the connection discovery, and then I will talk about the expertise discovery. And I will explain to you in a story, in a journey of me, or as Stefan put it, my alter ego, starting a new job in Contoso Furniture Company. So let's get started. So when I start my new job at Contoso, I know some people. I know my hiring managers and perhaps some of my peers. I need to learn who they are and what they do. I also need to learn who they work with, the subject matter expert that they interact with, because oftentimes they are the same subject matter expert that I need to interact with. But this information about who works with who is sometimes it's not very easy to find. It is more like a mystery. It's like a tribal knowledge. After you become part of the tribe for a while, then you start to learn about who's who in the tribe and who they work with. But this information can be unlocked. It can be discoverable through contents. People collaborate with one another through documents, share emails, and now through Delve, you can discover this connection. And let me show you in a quick demo. So for my first demo, I'm going to show you from a live Office 365 sites. We released an update to Delve a couple weeks ago that, sorry about that, so that integrates Office 365 profile with Delve. From anywhere in Office 365, whenever you see people's name, such as in this case, I got an email from my new manager, Adam, I can click on Adam's name and click on the profiling, which will take me to the new Delve profile. From here, I can learn about Adam, his org, my team, as well as anything that Adam shared previously to SharePoint, such as his skills and schools and so on. From the same page, I can also get Adam's documents. As Stefan mentioned, this is Adam's document from anywhere in Office 365. It can be from his OneDrive, it can be from the multiple team sites that Adam is part of. From these documents, I get some ideas about what Adam does, what my team does. So let's go back quickly to the email that I got from Adam. So Adam sent me email, and he asked me he gave me a new assignment to work on the new model of Contoso product called Juno Chair, the 2016 model. But just as it is my lucky day, we have a customer complaint. So Adam asked me to work on that first. Looks like there is some damage to the product, maybe during shipment. And then I need to find someone from logistics. But unfortunately, Adam forgot to tell me who I need to work with at logistics. And I found that logistics is actually quite a big department, that who should I talk to? I can find that information from Delve. So let me get back to Delve. So I show you this activity view that get a list of documents from Adam. I can also get documents from the people that Adam worked with, from this section called See More related to Adam. Now when I go there, I not only see the documents, but I also see the list of people. This is the people that Adam worked with. And one of the person is Stefan. And I can click on Stefan, and it will take me to his activity view get the list of his document, as well as I can also learn about Stefan from his profile. Now, who is Stefan? Remember, this is going back in time, so I pretend that I do not know Stefan yet. Since I do not know Stefan, I would like to learn more about Stefan before I connect to him, before I contact him. First, I need to make sure that he's actually the right guy. He actually knows something about logistics. And then second, I want to learn a thing or two about him to help me to make my first connection with Stefan. So from Delft, I can look at his document from his activity view to get some ideas about what Stefan do. I also can get information about his professional life from the profile, from the same page. So this combination of the documents from Stefan as well as his profile information gives me a more complete view of who Stefan is. But that's not all. This is just the beginning of our people experience in Office 365. We're going to improve the profile view and then add more stuff to make it a richer information about the person. And this is our new design. So before I continue, what do you guys think about the new design? Can I get a clap? Thank you. So let's talk about the new features in the new profile. So you might notice this picture of bread on Stefan's profile. So this week, we are releasing a new web authoring experience in Office 365. And we integrate it as part of the profile as a personal blog. Now you can write a story about yourself. You can share ideas with your colleague. You know, when you are a new guy, sometimes new guy joining your team, sometimes it's customary for that person to write a small biography, and then for the managers or the person herself, send the email to everyone in the team as an introduction. You know, I think that is, instead of writing an email, you can write a story so that the story, your story, is now available on your profile, not only to those that get to know you, receive the email when you come, but for everyone who likes to learn more about you even long after you join the company. The story is a great way for you to share your personal interests, to make a connection with other people in the company who share the same interests. And I think this is also a great way for you to make an impression. So from this story, and this is Stefan's true story, by the way, I learned that Stefan makes his own bread. Now, you know, the next time you meet with us again at a different conference, I bet you might not remember me, but you will remember Stefan who makes his own bread. Let's talk about another thing, which is an org chart. So when we released Delft, organization chart was the top requested features to be added to Delft. And we did add it to Delft. But that's not all. In addition, we are also going to add the position history. This is your complete resume in the company. When do you start, and when do you move department, when you change title, and so on. And the best thing about it is that if you have Active Directory Sync enabled, then all of this will be automatically generated for you. We will keep track when you change department. When you get promoted, you have a new title, it will automatically generate this resume for you. Now, in this case, for example, I learned that Stefan started his career at Contoso at the engineering department, and then he moved to the logistics department in 2009. Now, knowing this information, it is useful for me because now I know that Stefan is a fairly technical guy. He's from engineering. So now when I talk to Stefan, then I can discuss a more technical issue about the problem that we have. So let's say that now I learn about Stefan, now I connect to Stefan, and being a nice guy that he is, then he end up helping me to solve the problem with the customer. Now, I need to make sure that this is not the one and only time that Stefan helped me. I need to make sure that he knows that I appreciate his help. So I'm pleased to share you that we will also integrate praise as part of the new profile experience. From the profile, Stefan's profile page, I can go and then send a praise to Stefan. When I send a praise, I can include a short message as well as I can include a badge as part of the praise. And the praise will then be added on his profile so that everyone who visits Stefan will learn his good work. But that's not all. In addition, we will also send email to both my manager as well as Stefan's managers to let them know about the good work, to let them know about the praise. This is telling the person who's most responsible about Stefan's careers know about his good work. But in addition to that, we will also show the praise notification on the Delft homepage for everyone that both me and Stefan are working with, so that our colleague can check out the praise, and they can go to the profile and can like the praise. And therefore, thank you, therefore making Stefan happier, and the most important thing is for him to be more likely to help me again in the future. Thank you. So let's recap quickly. So I discovered Stefan through his connection with my manager, Adam. And then I learned about Stefan, and then he ended up helping me, and then I gave Stefan a praise. Now I resolved my customer problem. I'm ready to do my real work, my assignment, which is designing the new model for Juno Chair. But this is not a new product. There is an existing model, the last year model. I need to learn about those last year model. What's good about it, what's bad about it, so that I can use it as I'm designing the new model. I need to find people who knows about Juno Chair. I need to find expertise on Juno Chair. And let me show you how we can do it through Delft. So before we start, I'm going to show you this next demo from all the new features that we are adding to Delft. So all these features are not yet released. And we're going to show you because we want to get your feedback as we are finalizing these features. So when you come in, you should get a paper about the brief survey. So we highly appreciate it if you fill the survey at the end of this session and hand them out before you leave the room. So let's talk about how do I find people in Delft. So from the new Delft, I can search for Juno Chair. And from the search result, I found this Juno Chair. When I click on it, it will take me to Juno Chair board. Stefan talked about the board, which is a way for you to collect related content together in Delft. When you add content to board, you do not need to copy the documents. You don't need to have multiple copies of the documents. If the documents is already on your team site or in OneDrive, you can simply add the link to the documents, and it will be part of the board so that it can be combined with the documents from other locations related to the same topic. So this is not new. This is already in the Delft production today. What's new is that we add the ability for you to add people on the board. So if I'm looking for people who knows about Juno Chair, then I can go to the board and find that Cem and Brock worked on Juno Chair before. I can add myself to the board, but we'll make it easier for you. When you are in the board, and let's say that you want to contribute to the board, and then you can click this Add a Documents. And let's say that I add something from my most recent documents. And when I do that, not only the link to the document is added to the board, now if you notice that my name is automatically added to the board. So we make an assumption that if you work on the board, if you're adding something to the boards, that means that you are actually working on Juno Chair. So we'll add it for you. In the off chance that you are adding to the board on behalf of your colleague, and you do not want your name to be associated with this board, then you can simply go to the board and remove yourself. And of course, you don't need to add a document to add yourself to the board. You can also click this plus me on any board you find in Delft. I can also add other people on the board. So in this case, since I will be working with Stefan on the new model of Juno Chair to improve the handling during shipment, then I can add Stefan on the board, and his name will be listed. Now, when I add myself to the board, I also automatically following the board. Stefan mentioned about this concept of following to make it easy for you to get back to the things that matters to you. And he showed you this following view. So when I add myself to Juno Chair, then the Juno Chair will appear under my following view. Now when I add Stefan to the board, I also help him to follow Juno Chair. So when he goes to his following view, he will also see Juno Chair appear in this following view. By adding Stefan to the board, I help him to make it easier for him to get access to the project that we both work with and to get an update. But that's not all. In addition, now if I go to my profile, I also see Juno Chair added on my profile under this section called Working On. Now, what is this working on? At Microsoft, we often do a user study, a research, where we invite you, our customers, to come to our campus when we do in-depth discussion, understanding about your scenario, as well as we share with you what are the new things we're working on to get your early feedback. So we did a study a few months ago on the new profile. We like to know what are the important things we should add on the profile. One of the questions we ask is that, what are you looking for in a new person in the company? What do you like to learn? Suppose that you get an email from someone you do not know, or get invited to a meeting from someone you're not familiar with. And the email or the meeting doesn't give you context of why this person is reaching out to you. You want to understand who this person is. What is it that you're looking for in the profile? So the top response was organization structure. Understanding the reporting hierarchy gives you ideas about the role of this person in the organization. The second top response was working on. What is this person does? Helping to understand that what this person do, help you to understand the context of why this person is contacting you. But unfortunately, sometimes this information about what people do is sometimes not easy to find. Sometimes you can get some ideas by looking at the documents from the person through the activity tab. But sometimes the document title alone doesn't give you enough clues of what people do. In the new profile experience, we add the ability for you to curate in terms of what you're working on. But we know that people do not update their profile. So in order to help everyone in the company to get their profile more up to date, we will automatically use your activities in Office 365 that represent what you do. So in this case, when you're working on Juno Chair board, then the Juno Chair will automatically appear in this working on section in your profile. But that's not all. we'll add more signal to include more information in the working on. For example, the Office 365 group name that you're a member of will be added on this list as well. Maybe you work on a Microsoft Project Online, so that Project Online that you're part of will be added here. We're also going to add the API support, so that if you have a line of business in your company that represent what people do in your company, you can also send the data through the API so that it can also be included as part of that person's profile. In this case, I work on the Juno chair, and when I add myself, either implicitly or explicitly, then the Juno chair will be added on my profile. When I add Stefan on the board, that his profile will also get updated. The Juno chair now will appear under his working on section in his profile. Stefan will get an email from Delph to let him know that I add Stefan on the board. And if Stefan thinks that I make a mistake, he can click the link on the email, take him to the board, and he can remove himself, similar to what I shown earlier. But otherwise, by adding Stefan to the board, I help him to keep up with the board through the following, as well as I help him to update his profile. Now, in addition to me and Stefan's name, there are also these two other people on the board, Jem and Brock. Where do they get there? How do they get there? So they'll get added there through our automatic suggestions. Let's talk a little bit about these suggestions. So we did a study on the power of suggestions. And we presented the project suggestion to the users and collect some data. And not surprisingly, we found that people respond well to suggestions because it's easier to review the suggestion rather than having to come up on your own. But what is a little bit surprising, though, that when people are presented with suggestions, not only that they review or accept those suggestions, 50% of the time, people actually add more beyond what's suggested. They add manually. And we have a couple of possible explanations that we think why that is such the case. We have that high rate of people adding more stuff. So the first possible explanation is that when you are presented with suggestions, essentially that serves as examples for you. You know, like example is like best way of an instruction, especially if the examples are relevant for you. Now you get some ideas about what the system is asking you to do. And the second possible explanation is that when we present it with suggestions, sometimes the suggestion can be incomplete. And then when you see that something that is incomplete, you have a tendency to add the missing ones. So in this case, for example, if this is missing project 3, then I might identify that and might notice that and add it on the list of suggestions. But on top of that, let's say that I'm now working on project 6 that it doesn't have in a suggestion. Remember, this is going to be added on my profile, so I want to make sure it includes the very latest one, not just the old project that I'm working on. So there's this natural tendency for people to even add more to the suggestions. So the suggestion can be a very powerful thing, even when the suggestion is incomplete. But the question is, how do we get the suggestions to begin with? If you write a document, then we can use the document's metadata to understand what you do. But not everyone creates a document. What we found was that even though you do not create documents, your names are often mentioned in somebody else's document describing what you do. Let me give you an example. So in this case, these two people, Jem and Brock, are part of the sales team. And they're working for the manager, sales manager named Ashok. Every month, Ashok has a monthly status update meeting with Abram, his boss. So as part of his presentation, he lists, these are all the projects my team are working on, these are the status of the project, and here are the people on that project. Is this something that's similar to what you do at your company? As a matter of fact, this template, even though this is fictitious, I take this presentation slide deck from an actual things that my team does in Redmond when we do this monthly planning with our team. Another example might be a project proposal. So let's say that at the beginning of the project, Ashok prepared a proposal on this Juno chair, why we should do this Juno chair, and who are the best people that should work on this Juno chair. So that can be a proposal as part of his Word documents. In either case, when this document, when Ashok send this document, share this publicly on Office 365, we will use machine learning to extract the people name in the documents, as well as the context surrounding where we found the names to see if there is any clue in terms of what project these people are working on. We will then compare that against the list of the projects that the people has on their profile, and if there is anything new, we will send suggestions. When you confirm the suggestions, then only then we will add to the people's profile. If there is an existing board associated with this project, we will also add those people to the board. If this is a brand new project, we'll create a new board for you so that you can use the board to share content with your team. So we talked about how Cem and Brock are added to the Juno chair. So when later I add myself and I add Stefan to the board, now the Juno chair has a link between all four of us. So anyone else in the company now looking for Juno chair, they can go to Delft and search for Juno chair, and they can find all four of us. If I need to look for information about Fabricam, a customer, for example, then I can also search for Fabricam in Delft and can find all the people that works for Fabricam. This combination of expertise discovery as well as connection discovery will enable Delft to help you to find the people who can help you with your work. So in summary, Stefan and I talk about how people become the center of gravity in Delft. It is where you can find content through people and can find people through content. From Delft, you can find the contents from a person regardless where they are located in Office 365. From Delft, you can learn about the person. Look at their documents, learn from their documents, as well as learn about their professional as well as their personal life. From Delft, you can find people who can help you with your work, whether that is through connection discovery or through expertise discovery. And once you find the people who can help you, you can then follow them to easily to get back to them to get an update on the people that are important to you. So Delft is all about improving access to the people that are you need in order to do your work. Delft is about giving you more knowledge in terms of who does what and who knows what in the organization. Now we open our session with a quote, so I think it's only appropriate that we close with one. There is an American futurist, his name is Alvin Toffler, who said that knowledge is promiscuous. It mates and it gives birth to more knowledge. We hope that Delft can be your matchmaker in finding more people through content, in finding more content through people, in order to give you as much knowledge as possible to get your job done. So thank you for coming. There are three more things. So as I mentioned earlier that we have this survey. We appreciate you to fill the survey and hand it on the way back. Since this is also a new feature, we love your feedback. Come talk to us this week at Ignite. We will stay around after this session, and we will also be at the exhibition hall. Stefan will be there this afternoon, and I will be there tomorrow. And if you're watching this through recording, please send your comments through Delft Yammer group at Office 365 Network. Before I do it, so if you are already part of Yammer Network, I have a message from sponsor. I have some T-shirt for you. If you ask also question, we might have some swag while supply lasts. And lastly, there's some related content. There's a couple of sessions that yesterday from Adam, Ashok, and Frederick, and Cham. And yes, Cham is a real person. And then we also have some more sessions coming up the rest of the week. So thank you again for coming, everyone. And make sure to fill your eval, especially if you like us.